Hamsa Shiva Soham. Soham Hamsa Shiva. Sa Shiva Soham Hamsaha. Hamsa Shiva Soham. Soham Hamsa Shiva. Sa Shiva Soham Hamsaha. Hamsa Shiva Soham. Soham Hamsa Shiva. Sa Shiva Soham Hamsaha. Hamsa Shiva Soham. Soham Hamsa Shiva. Sa Shiva Soham Hamsaha. Hamsa Shiva Soham. Soham Hamsa Shiva. Sa Shiva Soham Hamsaha. Hamsa Shiva Soham. Soham Hamsa Shiva. Sa Shiva Soham Hamsaha. Hamsa Shiva Soham. Soham Hamsa Shiva. Sa Shiva Soham Hamsaha. Hamsa Shiva Soham. Soham Hamsa Shiva. Sa Shiva Soham Hamsaha. Hamsa Shiva Soham. Soham Hamsa Shiva. Sa Shiva Soham Hamsaha. Hamsa Shiva Soham. Soham Hamsa Shiva. Sa Shiva Soham Hamsaha. Sit quietly for a few moments. 35 or 36?
36.
कुछ पढ़ा नहीं जा रहा मेरे से. हाँ. चित्तं चिच्च विजानीयात्. चित्तं चिच्च विजानीयात्. तकाररहितं यदा. तकाररहितं यदा. तकारो विषयाध्यासः. तकारो विषयाध्यासः. जपारागौ यथा मणौ. जपारागौ यथा मणौ. As the color of a rod, as the color of a red hibiscus appears to be superimposed on a crystal glass next to it, in the same way, when consciousness is accompanied by the thought of the object, it is called citta. The takara or letter ta is the superimposition of objectivity on chit. Chit means consciousness. And when we introduce thatness, takar means thatness, otherness. When that is introduced into that all-pervading consciousness, then it is called as mind. Then it is called as mind. When you give a form to a water, then it is called a wave. So what is that form? That is the takar. Total form, ocean. You've given it another takar, total form. So here it is said, whenever in that consciousness, just like if someone pricks me or a thorn pricks me, immediately that smooth skin suddenly becomes swelled up. So what has happened? Something that was not there was introduced. Same way, wherever the consciousness with the introduction of some objectivity is introduced or accepted, at that very moment, that swelling, the entire skin is fine, but only that space is, and that is the thought, that is the mind. So if you can understand, that's good, otherwise don't worry about it. To reach the, क्या लिखा है यार? To reach the unmani state, someone read, I can't read it.
The teacher gives suggestions.
The teacher gives suggestions. Okay, read next. Mind is consciousness. If one
removes the illusion of objectivity, when objectivity is recognized as illusion, then what remains is
consciousness. So, what are we doing when we are doing japa? What are we doing when we are doing meditation? We are removing objectivity. And how does objectivity appear in your mind? As a thought. So, we are reducing and then eventually dissolving the objectivity in the mind. And then, as long as you remain awake, then what is left behind is the consciousness. Yesterday we saw between the two thoughts. We saw that when you go to sleep, if you remain awake, you are in Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Between two thoughts, you are in Nirvikalpa Samadhi. So, the name of the game is that we have to dissolve the thoughts from our mind. And you cannot dissolve the consciousness, because consciousness is the presence in whose presence the thoughts come and go. Next one. If a crystal is kept close to a red colored...
If a crystal is kept next to a red colored japa, that is hibiscus flower, reflects the red color as its own. Similarly, consciousness with the touch of objectivity
is called the mind. So यहाँ पे एक example दिया है, and the example is, if there is a crystal and if it is kept on a red cloth or a blue cloth or a green cloth, the crystal takes the color of the cloth, isn't it? And you see it as a red, blue or green crystal. Exactly the same way, consciousness, when objectivity is introduced in the consciousness or comes to in proximity to the consciousness, objectivity we are talking about, immediately that consciousness is called as, it gets the color of the object, and that colored consciousness is called as mind. So can the consciousness be colored? Can the consciousness be influenced? Can the consciousness be affected by the objects? No. But the problem is, we see that our mind gets affected. If someone says, scolds us, we get affected. If someone loves us, we get affected. If the thought of children come, we get affected. So many things are happening in our mind. So even though we are consciousness, we are behaving as if we are the mind. And therefore there is no solution for the mind. The only solution for the mind is reduce these thoughts in the mind, dissolve the thoughts in the mind, and come back to being the consciousness. That's the only solution. Because mind with objectivity, that objectivity is an imaginary thing. It's a projection, like that snake on the rope. It was a projection. He imagined. So even though this whole Jiv Jagat Ishwar is nothing but that consciousness, we are thinking, I am other than the Jagat, I am other than the Ishvara, Ishvara is controlling me from there, the Jagat was before me, the Jagat will be after me. All these wrong notions that we have cultivated in our mind, unintelligently, because nobody taught us. Spirituality is to undo all this and see that it is all one, and play the game of life, or allow the game of life to be played through you. The next point is, whatever is
not I is object.
Whatever is not I is object. Now you find out in yourself. All referential knowledge is not I. Huh? All referential knowledge. And where does it begin from? Body, breath, mind, intellect, concepts, memories, expectations, etc., etc. All this is not I. There is someone who is owning it. Find out who is this owner. Find out who is this observer. Find out who is this witness. Then therefore, when the attention is removed from everything that is not I, which is the world, then the mind is only consciousness. And that's what we do. Every night, last night when you went to sleep, you removed your attention from the entire world, knowingly or unknowingly, because you have an idea that going to sleep will rejuvenate me, isn't it? The going to sleep where there are no thoughts, where there is no objectivity, where there is not even the I thought, is going to recharge me for the next day. That is our, more or less, that is our, we don't think that way, but somewhere deep inside in our subconscious, that conviction is there. So, if that is the case, you are one with consciousness in deep sleep every night. You just don't know it. And that is why it is called sleep. What does a yogi do? He goes to sleep. He allows the mind to go to sleep, but he remains awake. If mind goes to sleep and you are awake, then what is it called? Samadhi. And he is fully recharged next day. No tiredness. Live day in and day out. Then don't make that as an event. Now we are telling you that between two thoughts also Nirvikalpa Samadhi is there. The text told you yesterday's class. So in this manner, everything that is not I must be rejected. And if you can't reject, I am not the body, I am not the breath, I am not the mind, I am not the intellect, and with regards to body, I am not the father, mother, daughter, sister. With regards to breath, with the body comes heat and cold and relationships. With the breath comes hunger and thirst. With the mind comes likes and dislikes. With the intellect comes honor and dishonor. Everything I am not. then अब परेशानी नहीं होगी कभी. But then there is no reason for you to get disturbed by anything because I am not that. Come back to your original nature. Objectification of the subject is an obstacle. What is that next one? Vishaya dhyana is the acceptance of the perception of object as real. So this is, I know, suddenly you come to this trip and you hear all this, it is not that easy to digest. But Vishaya dhyana, here it says, dhyana, contemplation on any object. Dhyasa. Vishaya dhyasa also, same thing. Contemplation on any object or acceptance of an object as real is the problem. Then only it will appear as thought in your mind. If you don't accept it as real, then it will not. Then how do you make an object not to appear as real? By keeping your attention not on the object but on the consciousness that you are. That is the only way. So let the world come and go. You are not making it come and go. It is happening. But where is your attention? When your attention is on the world, if my attention now is on my tummy, which is giving me trouble, again and again it is pulling my attention there. And every time it pulls the attention, I feel the cramp. Huh? See? So now it has become a problem. So just like now I am taking medicine to remove if I take a medicine to remove the cramp, then I will be normal. So what is abnormality? Individuality is the abnormality. What is the normality? Being the infinite consciousness is the normality. So don't give attention to the pain, don't give attention to the world of names and forms, give attention to the consciousness. If you can't do that, you find it, oh, I don't know, do japa. It will take you to that. Because all that is required is reduction of thoughts in your mind. Nyeya vastu parityagat Jnanam tishtati kevalam Triputi kshinataameti Brahma nirvana mricchati. In the renunciation of the objects of knowledge, only pure knowledge remains. So when all objects have been removed from your awareness, from your consciousness, from your mind, what remains is pure consciousness. The trio of the knower, known and the knowledge disappears. Remember in one of the classes we said every thought there must be a subject, an object and the instrument of knowledge. Only then a thought can appear. So another way of putting it is knower, known, knowledge, experiencer, experienced, experiencing, seer, seen, seeing. So this is called triputi. If any one ingredient out of these three is missing, if the knower is missing, the thought cannot appear. If the known is missing, thought cannot appear. If the knowledge is missing, thought cannot appear. This is understand this about your thoughts. See? So here it is told that the trio of the knower, known and the knowledge disappears, and thereafter one comes to the experience of Brahman as objectless awareness. So where there is no objectivity there in our mind has gone. Then what happens to the mind if there is no objectivity? There is no takar, there is no otherness of thought in the mind. That thought appears as these three. If it is not there, what happens to the mind? If the wave disappears, then what happens? Then there is only water. Water by nature is infinite. So if the thoughts from the mind disappear or dissolve because there is no one to own them, because you have rejected or your attention is on the consciousness, then the mind goes back to being the consciousness. Consciousness with thoughts is called mind. Mind without thought is called consciousness, and that's what you are. Accept it and work towards it. Towards what? Towards emptying your mind. Knower known knowledge, these three put together is called triputi or triad. If the object of knowledge is dropped, then neither the knower nor the knowledge of the object remains. So can you drop yourself? You cannot. I cannot be dropped, isn't it? Because you are there. If I is there, the knowledge of something will always take place. Of something or nothing. So we cannot drop the I, we cannot drop the knowledge, we can drop the object. So I can choose not to see this table, or I can let my eyes see the table, but I don't give it any value. Because my attention is on the conscious principle. What remains is pure knowledge and not the knowledge of the object. If there is no objectivity, what remains behind is the pure knowledge. If there is no wave, there is only water. If there is no ocean, there is only water. So was there water only when wave and ocean went away? No, water was always. But your attention was on ocean, on wave. So you are like that. You are always consciousness. But your attention is on Jeev Jagat Ishwar. Your attention is on objectivity. Drop the objectivity, come back to be the original. Observe this in meditation and reject all things, meaning all objectivity. We have given, what is that? We have given too much importance to the world. Devalue it, then the world becomes important to influence us. Right now you are sitting here, the light is coming and going, he is walking. How much importance are you giving to it? Because your attention is on the satsang. So things are happening, but zero value. Isn't it? Same way in life, move through life, giving attention to the Lord name or to the consciousness that you are, and devalue everything in this world. All objectivity. World is nothing but objectivity. Devalue. No, but what about I gave birth to this child, it is my grandchild, it is my house, it is my health. फिर लगे रहो, suffer. Question is, you want happiness, permanent happiness, or you want temporary happiness? Look around. No child, no parent, one elderly, maybe elder than you, and he had parents in Bangalore. And one day he called me for भिक्षा. क्या बोलता है भिक्षा में? स्वामी जी, I want to tell you something. पहले खाना खा लो, फिर बाद में पेट भर लो पहले. भर लिया. उसके बाद, my father lives a lavish lifestyle and keeps demanding money from me. He wants the latest phone. He wants the latest watch. He wants to go everywhere in an AC taxi. He says, I am bloody struggling here, and he thinks that I am a millionaire. Okay. And then eventually both the brothers, one in America, one in Melbourne, they both got together and they had to scold him, man. We can't live like that. Satisfying your desires. My child, my parents. Before it was guilt. That it is my parents, I have to fulfill their wishes. They have given me birth. They are because of them I won't be who I am. But to what extent? Where you don't have enough money to educate your children and satisfy the desires of your parents. सोचो जरा, कोई किसी का नहीं है. Everyone is there only for their own sake, not for someone else's sake. Because this world is like this, like the dog's tail. It can never become straight, as much as you may try. So should we improve the world or not? No, we must try to improve it. But how do you improve the world? By improving yourself. You become a source of light. You become a source of inspiration. And those who are around you, they get inspired. You cannot change the world. You can change yourself. And if someone, because of your presence, gets affected, so be it. But don't take ownership of that. Where are we? Last point.
As a Triputi.
As Triputi weakens, one is able to attain and recognize the final merging in the infinite reality.
Correct. As the Triputi reduces, so if I am saying Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, it is one, every word is a Triputi. Or just say Om, Om, it is one Triputi. It is one thought. Then second Om. So as we keep our attention not on the Om but on the beginning or the end or the gap between two Oms, slowly this emergence of Om in our mind, it will reduce and dissolve eventually. And when it dissolves, you are back to your original nature. And that's what is told here. Continuing. Manisha.
Mano mantra.
Huh? Oh, manomatramidam sarvam. Manomatramidam sarvam. Chinmano jnanamatrakam. Chinmano jnanamatrakam. Ajnana brahmamityahuhu. Ajnana brahmamityahuhu. Vijnanam paramam padam. Vijnanam paramam padam. The world is the creation of the mind. The world is the creation of the mind. Was there world when you were sleeping?
Yes. I mean, the world is still there, but not in our
Think.
No.
So why do you say no?
Once you sleep, your mind is.
How many of you say the world is there when you are sleeping?
It's not the same world, it's a world.
Sleeping world.
The sleeping world, there is nothingness in the sleep. So how can there be any world? So here we are talking about subjective experience. We are not talking about a general experience. We are not talking about, no, but when I am sleeping, the world is still there, my father is there, my mother is there, my bed is there, my room is there, everything is there. For whom? For whom? For others. But what about you? As a subjective experience, did you experience the presence of the world when you are sleeping? No. So that means the world was not there. And when you wake up just now, after meditation, I am coming out, I can't even read the words here. So I'm slowly, my mind is clicking in. It has not become objectified completely yet. First mind is clicking in, then my senses are clicking in, eyes are taking a bit longer. And this is how. And where is it coming from? Because of my memories. The whole world is again getting projected. Same way it happens in dream also. Every dream there is a new world, isn't it? In the waking also, every day there is a new world. You think, the ego thinks that it is the continuity of the yesterday's world into today's world. That's why we suffer. Live in the moment, enjoy. So here it says, the world is the creation of the mind. When the mind is devoid of thoughts of the world, it is pure consciousness. We have said that enough times now. A modification in the mind, the modification in the mind is ignorance. And the, what is that?
Supreme state.
And the supreme state of the pure self is the vijnana. So modification in the mind is ignorance. So what is ignorance? What is mithya? What is phenomena? That which is existing in its own absence. That which is existing in its own absence. A wave for all purposes is nothing but water, but we are calling it a wave. For all purposes we are infinite consciousness, but we are calling ourselves as the body. Just like that water was called a wave, we are calling ourselves as a body. The material, from Ishvara's point of view, the material that has gone into this whole creation is divinity. And the creator of the whole creation is divinity. But what are we seeing? Are we seeing divinity in everyone? Or are we seeing inertness? Are we seeing competition? Are we seeing jealousy? Are we seeing, he's old or I'm young, he is ugly, I'm beautiful? This is what we are seeing. Actually, what is the material out of which it is made? Divinity. Because Bhagwan, if you want to take Ishvara himself became the whole creation with the help of his Shakti, his potentiality. But we don't have that vision. So to transform this vision, we have to come back to the original. So here he says, Idam, in Vedantic language, is anything that is recognized as not self. Idam is the takar, the thatness. Idam is something other than the self, is called as Idam. Total knowledge of Idam, that is the not self, is mind. Objectivity is the baby of the mind. Total knowledge of the Idam, that is the not self, is mind. We have these bucket lists that if I do this, if I do that, I will be happy. Still the list keeps increasing. Tell me one thing, is the total number of waves in the ocean equal to the infinite waters? Why?
Because it's the top water.
It's only on the surface. Water is much deeper, isn't it? Similarly, now think. Total number of thoughts in your mind, can they be equal to consciousness? Not. Can the total experience, I want to experience this, I want to go to Kailash, I want to go to Kedarnath, I want to go to Pandharpur, I want to do this, I want to do that. Can all the experiences put together be equal to realization? No. Narad Muni, he is the master of 64 vidyas, 64 knowledges. And still he was disturbed. And the moment he became disturbed, his elder brothers, the Sanat Kumaras, they came and asked, hey, what happened to you? He says, I know everything about the creation. I got all the knowledge. Still there is an emptiness in my tummy, in my bosom. I don't know why I am not feeling complete. So he said, have you fallen in love? He says, what do you mean by love? That part he was missing. So then they tell him, then he wrote Narad Bhakti Sutras, and they gave him the Om Namo Narayanaya mantra, and they say, fall in love with the Lord, that alone can remove the emptiness from your heart. Knowledge can never remove the emptiness. See? Chit, the consciousness, is mind without any objectivity. We have already mentioned that before. Our being is not known by any thought process of mind. I am not because I think. One philosopher, he said, I think therefore I am, Descartes. But that is not the conclusion. Because I am thinking therefore I am, or I am therefore thinking is taking place. Which one do you accept? Not a very big question. I am, therefore thinking happens, or I think, therefore I am. I am, therefore thinking happens. Because I am independent of thinking or not thinking going on in the mind, isn't it? Ignorance is a delusion. Delusion is in us, and result of delusion is illusion. What is delusion? Delusion means non-comprehension of the self. I have not come to recognize, I have forgotten that I am the infinite consciousness. Then this forgetfulness or delusion, which is at the intellectual level, this leads to projection in the mind. And first, because I have forgotten that I am complete, now I want to complete myself by attaching myself to something. This is illusion. Then illusion comes about. So delusion in the intellect, illusion in the mind, and we are doing something or the other to complete ourselves, including this trip. But something has to happen. Let it happen. Don't get caught up in it, that's all. Just take it as the will of the divine and play the game without forgetting that you are complete. This does not add anything to you, this does not subtract anything from you. If you saw, oh, that was divine. If you didn't see, I think I lost it was a waste of money. Wrong conclusion. Because we are essentially complete. This is a big one because man in general is oriented in this manner. खाना खाऊंगा तो मेरे को तृप्ति मिलेगी. If I take shower, I'll feel fresh. If I go to sleep, I'll be rejuvenated. If I give a call to my family, then not only they will feel good, I will also feel good. Because if I don't give a call, there is a guilt that they were expecting it, they are my family, etc. The whole spiel begins. One who is continuously working towards dissolving the mind, he does not get affected by all this. Yes, there are consequences. People will misunderstand you, people will judge you, people will but you have to, if you persevere, then it all changes. Like one couple was there, one man, husband, wife and 3 daughters. And the mother and the 3 daughters, full power in the house. And they used to say, Dad, you can't do this, Dad, you can't do this. Continuously undermining him. And वो थोड़ा nervous हो गया. तो स्वामी जी के पास आया. And he said, Swami ji, this is happening. They blame me for everything. And I get disturbed. And then I lose it. Swami ji said, don't worry. From today onwards, you say, everything in the world is happening because of me. There is an earthquake, because of me the earthquake happened. There is a tsunami, because of me the tsunami happened. If the sabji was spicy, because of me the sabji became spicy. All the 3 became mad. Daddy ko kya ho gaya? Then they went to Swami ji. Swami ji, aapne kya bole Daddy ko? No, he is the source of the whole creation, so he is saying it. तो कहीं तो झूठ बोल के शुरू करो पर वो it becomes, and he became so calm. He became immune to whatever they will say. And as a result, they also changed. See? तो ये छोटी-छोटी techniques हैं. Continuing. So delusion leads to illusion. Illusion is the projection. Delusion is forgetfulness. If I forget that there is only water, then I get lost in ocean and waves. If I forget it is only gold, then I get lost in ornaments and I pay through the nose for the ornaments. But when you go to sell the ornament back to the jeweler, he does not get lost in the ornament. He will give you the money for the gold. He will not give you the money for the ornament. Then you bought the name and form. The jeweler bought back the gold. So now move in this world. Are you lost in the name and form? Emotions, concepts, ideas, projections? Or are you focused on the consciousness, the constant principle, the substratum? In absolute awareness, where there is no objectivity, there cannot be any trace of ego. Yeah. They cannot, there is in absolute awareness. So you are not affected by any objectivity. It's not that you become aware, so the world will stop. The world will continue. Anger will come, hunger will come, sleep will come, waking will come, but you are not influenced by it. Right now we are influenced by it. Last night, it was a very long journey, I need to go to sleep. Let the mind say it, but you remain the witness. You remain the witness. It comes with practice. It comes with practice and it comes with slowing down your thoughts in the mind and coming to the correct understanding that the world is only an illusion, the self is the substratum Bereft of ego, the knowledge is without the involvement of the mind. This is vijnana. So we think knowledge is only possible through thoughts. Knowledge is possible through thoughts. This is how we have programmed ourselves. From childhood, parents, 2 and 2, A, B, C, D, ये वो, Sanskrit, Hindi, English, सब कुछ पढ़ो. फिर उसके बाद you could do a profession. But how many rich people or successful people are there who have studied? Majority of the successful people are uneducated. They employ the educated people. But that is called intuitive. When you become empty, when you are not enslaved by the objectivity, when you are not judging what is coming in front of you because your attention is on the consciousness, then at that moment, just like the mirror, whoever comes, the right thought will appear in the mind. Right response will come about. That is the smart way of living. We are calibrating our life. We are collecting data and then coming to certain conclusions. Here is another way. If you empty yourself of all objectivity, intuitively you will be in the right place at the right time with the right people, with the right experience, with the right responses, because there is no agenda. It's just a mirror which is reflecting. This is how Mahatmas live. The Vijnana is Parampadam. So where there is no ego, you are with the infinite self that you are. Ajnanam chanyatha jnanam. Ajnanam chanyatha jnanam. Maya metam vadanti te. Ishwaram mayinam vidyat. Ishwaram mayinam vidyat. Mayatitam niranjanam. Ignorance and otherwise knowledge is called Maya. What is otherwise knowledge? Anything other than the self, the consciousness that you are, that comes under the category of Maya. What is Maya? That which appears but actually is not there. Ornament appears but actually it is not there. There is only gold. Wave appears but actually is not there. There is only water. Pot appears but actually is not there. There is only mud. The world appears, name and form appears, but actually there is only existence, consciousness and bliss. This you cannot recognize by indulging in the world. This only happens by going back to the source. Ishvara is the controller of Maya. So what is the difference between Jiva and Ishvara? The Jiva is under the control of mind. Mind at the totality level is called Maya. And who is Ishvara? He is the controller of the Maya. So when you come to this point, disposition, where you have dissolved the mind and come to recognize I am independent of the mind, there is no difference between you and Ishvara or you and Paramatma. No difference.
That's simple.
It's that simple. So decide, you want to be slave of the world or you want to be the master of the world. And where is the world? Only in your mind. And why the mind is projecting the world? Because you have forgotten you are the essential consciousness. Forgetfulness, delusion. Delusion about the self. Therefore, the mind is projecting the world. And that projected world I am interacting with and wanting to complete myself. See, this is the red pill and the blue pill in Matrix. देखिए आपने?
Yeah.
You have seen the movie.
Yes.
It's exactly all this going on.
Yeah.
The individual realizing his essential nature by the third movie. Wise people say that Maya has two aspects, Ajnana and what is that? Non-apprehension of reality, and the second one is Anyatha Jnana.
Anyatha jnana.
misapprehension of reality means anyatha jnana means ajnana is non-apprehension. Ignorance expresses in two ways. One is forgetful of the self, that is delusion, and second is projection, which is illusion. I just, in the previous verse I explained. Maya is trying to comprehend the absolute without success. The only way the Maya can come to know its source, come to know the infinite reality, is by merging into it. As long as the Maya thinks it is separate, it is missing the... As long as the mind is thinking that it has an independent existence, it will only keep complaining. But when the mind merges back into its source, there is completion. And it's happening every night when you go to sleep. Recognize it, be awake to it. One who functions without getting influenced by Maya is called Ishvara. So, the one who gets influenced by Maya, he is called Jiva. The one who doesn't get influenced by Maya, he is called Ishvara. Now decide which one you are. Apne Sanatan Dharma, in Konkani, they call their husbands Deva. And their husband also calls her Devi. So recognize, सिर्फ बोलने से नहीं होता, उसको implement it also. Jiva is the one who is influenced by Maya, I have already explained. The absolute truth is beyond Maya, that is beyond relativity, that is beyond cause and effect, that is beyond Ishvara and Jiva. So where there is duality, where there is comparison, where there is micro and macro, that is relativity. So there is wave and there is ocean. Wave is the individual, ocean is the total. Wave thinks there are all other waves in competition with me. Then he meditates. He says, oh, I am a part of the ocean. What is the ocean's disposition? All the waves are in me. I am in all the waves. But both of them are missing the point that they are the water. Both of them. But here, as the ocean, I am saying that. But as the Ishvara, in the Ishvara Advayavad, the Ishvara knows that he is the Parabrahma Paramatma. Because that is why, because he knows it, therefore he is the master of Maya. He is uninfluenced by Maya. If he keeps thinking that I am the master of Maya, again he is in relativity. Niranjana is where there is no anjana, no impurity. Anjana is the collyrium, kajal. So it may make it look beautiful. The eyes look beautiful. The names and form make the world look beautiful. But we are missing the point. The ornaments make the gold look beautiful. The pots make the mud look beautiful. But that is not the truth. Truth is the mud. The truth is the gold. Truth is the consciousness that I am. Sadanande chidakashe. Sadanande chidakashe. Maya meghas tadinmanaha. Maya meghas tadinmanaha. Ahanta garjanam tatra. Dhara sarohi yattamaha. Dhara sarohi yattamaha. Mahamohandhakaresmin. Mahamohandhakaresmin. Devo varshati lilaya. Devo varshati lilaya. Asya vrishter viramaya. Asya Vrushte Viramaya Prabodhaika Samiranaha Prabodhaika Samiranaha. Example is taken. In the sky of Satchidananda, the Maya is the cloud, the mind is the lightning, and I am the body notion is the thundering. In that darkness,
The ignorance is the
in that darkness, the ignorance is the torrential rain. So, in the sky of Satchidanand Swarup, see, this is another. We think that there is this world and everything. Where I gave this example before. If you caught it, it's good. It's not, I'll repeat it again. Where is the whole creation existing? अभी पढ़ लिया इसलिए बोल रहे हो. Where is the outside creation existing? Outside creation. Where is it existing? In the space. Good. Someone was listening. Where is the space existing? In the mental space. So the whole creation cannot exist without space, and space is only a concept of your mind. It's a projection of your mind. Where is the mental space existing?
The total space.
Huh?
In the total space.
No, total space in the conscious space. So out of conscious space, because of takar, because of objectivity, came the mental space. Out of the mental space, again, even more objectivity, came the outside space. So this is another meditation which you can employ. The outside space is a part of the mental space is a part of the conscious space. That conscious space I am, and that is what is told here. What is that? In the sky of the Satchidananda, in the space of the Satchidananda, the Maya is the cloud. So what is that cloud? Sometimes the cloud comes and you can't see the sun. But in the light of the sun, you are seeing the cloud, isn't it? Can you see the sun because of the cloud? No. You are seeing the cloud because of the sun, even though you are not able to see the sun. Exactly the same way. So the Maya is the cloud, the mind is the lightning, and I am the body notion is the thundering. It shakes you up. When you are in meditation, there is no shaking, there is no thundering, there is no objectification, there are no thoughts, everything comes to a silence. Isn't it? In that darkness, the ignorance is the torrential rain. Continuing the example, here it says, in such darkness of delusion is darkness. Remember, ignorance is expressing as delusion and illusion. Delusion is forgetfulness of the self, illusion is projection due to forgetfulness of the self. Because I forget I am a man, I project I am a husband. Husband is only a projection, it is not a reality. I am a son is only a projection. I am a father is only a projection of the mind. Because of acceptance of the role, that role is because of some reference of some object, isn't it? So you have forgotten that you are the original and therefore you are taking on the... So same way here, in such darkness or delusion, Ishvara showers heavy rain. Self-knowledge alone is the wind which can disperse these rains, the rains of ignorance. And what does this rain of ignorance mean? Ignorance expresses a desire and karma. Avidya leads to kama, kama leads to karma. I know it is a kadvi ghuti hai ye khane peene wali. Forgetfulness of the self is called ignorance. Ignorance leads to desire. Desire leads to action. Now we have to... What is the first step? To remove the action from our mind? To remove the... And how does action happen? because there is doership and enjoyership. So what is the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita? The Lord said to Arjuna, Karmanyavadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. So to dissolve the action, by the time you come to 5th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, it is karma sannyasa yoga. So you are renouncing the karma. But to renounce the karma, the doership, what is the first step? Perform the action where life has put you without expectation of a result. See, that is the way. As the mind gets purified, the 3rd chapter comes. In the 3rd chapter, the essence is that what action is done is not a problem. The attitude behind the action is the important. So karma. Go next. That is 4th chapter. So here is the attitude or the intention. You are holding a knife, someone is using it to kill, someone is using it to heal. Once the attitude gets refined, then it leads to the 4th chapter, karma. That action is happening, inaction is happening. I am only the witness. And both are happening at the same time. I am sitting still, but inside the movement is taking place. I am sitting in the train not doing anything, but I am covering a distance of 1,000 kilometers. Karma, both are going. When this recognition comes, 5th chapter, karma sannyasa yoga. When that happens, that karma is not being done by me, it is happening. Then 6th chapter, dhyana yoga. So it's a complete science. But you have to become oriented towards yourself, not outside world. Ishvara showers heavy rains. Self-knowledge alone is the wind which can dispense these rains. In the space, very deep dark clouds have gathered. With clouds come the lightning. It is followed by thunder. During the display of lightning and thunder, torrential rains begin. Then darkness becomes even darker. In the scenario of darkness, problems and miseries start. At this point, we pray to God to relieve us of this torture. This is exactly what happens to a person in the world of duality of delusion. We can never be free. इसीलिए भगवान ने बोला है बार बार, सुख दुख समय कृत्वा, लाभा लाभौ समय कृत्वा, जया अजया समय कृत्वा, न शोचति न कांक्षति समय कृत्वा. Live in the middle. Don't get affected by anything. But man, investment return मिल गया तो he is excited. I made a kill. Then next moment he puts all that money into another investment and everything becomes zero and he goes into depression. You know? With great, in Melbourne, in Delhi, when we were in Mumbai, when we were studying, one great diamond merchant, some from Surat, spent in those days, I'm talking 95, 96, he spent 6 crores on the marriage of his daughter. Brought all the dignitaries and politicians and film actors and Hollywood, hired 747 jumbo jets, brought them to Bombay में हो रहा था शादी, and we brahmacharis were invited. Why? It's a feel good thing, you know. Brahmacharis, sannyasis moving around. I have the money. They have to listen to me. So आश्रम को दक्षिणा मिल गई अच्छी. वो बात अलग है. 6 months later, divorce. 6 months later. How many cases like this we have heard? How many cases we have heard? That with good intention we have children, but the children don't come out to be either they are paraplegic, some shortcoming is there, or they don't turn out to be the ideal children, isn't it? But that intention was correct. So nothing, this creation is like this only. तो यहाँ पे बताते हैं कि so it is great It is great. Those people who are taking care of their children, who are committed to their parents, all that must be done. But without losing the focus on the divine. Do it in the effulgence of the divine, rather than in the effulgence of guilt that I produced this child, I got married, and I have to do this. What will society say if I don't do this? Like were two girls in Gurgaon, I'm going to them now. So their father had a stroke and he went into coma. 2.5 weeks in coma in one of the hospitals. 17 lakh ka kharcha aa gaya. 17 lakh. So she called me, Swamiji, this is the situation, and doctor is saying that he's never going to recover ever, and this is his second stroke, I think. And because he recovered in the first stroke, doesn't mean that this is going to happen. It's a massive one. So you pull the plug. So I said, okay, you got two choices. Either you pull the plug and don't feel guilty, or you don't pull the plug and face the consequences. That's the only two choices you have. And it's an expert suggestion the doctor is giving that your life is going to be a hell if you don't do that. And no, but Swamiji, my dad brought us up, he gave us all the education, we are who we are. She's a CEO now, a COO in an advertising company. And everything I am because of him, how can I do that? No. I said, I am not saying to do this or to do that. I have given you two options, you choose. If you are ready to face the consequences, don't. Now, last 5 years, they are having a hell of a life. They can't sleep at night. He's gone mad. He's got dementia. He बोल नहीं पाता, चिल्लाता है, कपड़े फाड़ता है. And the two girls, they can't do it. They don't have a life of their own. The mother doesn't have a life of their own. 5 years. तो just थोड़ी सांत्वना देने के लिए मैं जा रहा हूँ अभी उधर एक दिन के लिए. See? And this is what happens in our life also. Out of guilt, we remain, we allow to compromise our happiness. I'm not saying happiness because of objects of the world. I'm talking about happiness, the inner happiness. So do everything in life without forgetting that the true you. Then everything will sort itself out. The nature automatically sorts itself out. You don't have to sort out. जैसे one doctor, great surgeon in Coffs Harbour. His son is also a great surgeon. He's in Melbourne somewhere. वो कौन सा है वो institute. Anyway, whatever it is. So they had their first child and went there. So the father is calling me, that his son's Swami, because I knew she was pregnant, and I'm asking again and again, when is the D-Day, when is it happening? Eventually he called me after two months. He said, Swamiji, can you come today? I said, what happened? Has the child been born? Congratulations. No, Swamiji, don't ask anything, come. I went. And immediately I go into that house and a half-developed child, no brain. Just जैसे वो Martians दिखते हैं ना, वैसा. Like this, the child can't even breathe, nothing, only bone. And I was not ready for it. And they put the baby in my hand. Swamiji, please bless. Bless, what blessing can I give? You want me to bless that it should die tomorrow? Because it's not going away? Or do you think I have the power to revive this child and make it normal? मेरे को तो देखा भी नहीं जा रहा, इतना ugly caricature is there in my arms. You can't do anything. I just closed my eyes, chanted Trambakam. Next day the child passed away. Oh Swamiji, your blessings were. What blessings? मार दिए इसलिए? सोचो जरा. So what is the blessing here? That the child went away, or so they use us for that purpose? Socho. So this is how we are moving in our life. Not that I wanted that child to die or anything, I just offered it to the Lord. Whatever your wish, you do it. You just be the mirror, you know. So इस तरीके से life is like that only. See? So don't forget that you are the consciousness. In the light of consciousness, when all activities are done, in the light of consciousness, you disengage. Activities are happening by themselves. I'll give you an example how. If you keep a magnet here and iron filings next to the magnet, is anyone moving the iron filings or they automatically become unidirectional? Isn't it? So did someone invoke the activity in all they were, one was facing north, south, east, west, everywhere. But the moment magnet comes in front of it, all of them start facing the magnet, isn't it? So did the magnet invoke the activity there? No. So where is this activity? It is happening of its own accord. That is the nature. So when in front of magnet, all of them became unidirectional. When you start thinking of the greatest magnet, the conscious self, all your thoughts will become unidirectional. That is called ajapajap. When all your thoughts are continuously going towards the Atma or the self. Then, and live in that manner, day in and day out. फिर देखो मजा जीने का. This is, what is this? This is exactly what happens क्या है यार, to a person in this world of duality, of delusion. That means he only complains, he only has grief, temporary joys, long-term grief. From childhood till now, how many joys you can count some of them. But continuously the body is breaking down, continuously guilts are there, regrets are there, expectations are there, desires are not fulfilled, blah blah blah, goes on. Clouds of Maya gather in the
ever blissful conscious space.
the clouds of Maya gather in the ever blissful conscious space. If you can see, the clouds are because of the light. You are able to see the clouds of Maya because of the light of the self. That means you have not forgotten the self. We see the world, we see our body, we see our achievements, we see our sorrows, forgetting the self. If we remember the self and still go through, nothing is going to affect us. You think Bhagwan doesn't? If you read the different Puranas, every god has gone through his challenges. The wife doesn't listen, the Shakti doesn't listen. When she doesn't listen, then she has to be born. Then God has to go take birth to guide her back to her original nature. Isn't it? All stories are the same. So our mind is that Shakti or the Maya. Maya at individual level is called as mind. Mind at totality level is called as Maya Shakti. And this Maya Shakti is inseparable from the Ishvara. This mind is inseparable from the conscious self. Because conscious self or consciousness with thought is called mind. Mind without thought is consciousness. Maya without Trigonatmika, without having multiplied into three, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, she is one with Ishvara. When she becomes Trigonatmika, she becomes separate from Ishvara. See? Or as if, it's only as if. So, कहाँ गए हम? In the Maya Megha, there is lightning of the mind, and with mind, relativity becomes obvious. Mind is relativity. Relativity expresses in two ways, micro and macro. That is relativity. Everything that is coming and going is relativity. Becomes obvious. Also with mind, ahanta, ego starts roaring, I is born. And wherever there is duality, wherever there is sense of otherness, that you are separate to me, sense of otherness, duality, dualism, there immediately at that very moment the I appears. That I am separate to you. That I am not the table. I am not the camera. Immediately the I comes up. Ego is the root cause of all our miseries. So if all of you know that, this is nothing new. You know ego brings only miseries. So dissolve your ego and be the conscious self and live your daily life as the conscious self rather than the ego. Allow all the roles to be played because mind has got programmed. It is playing all the roles. It knows what the roles are. You just keep watching. Be the conscious self. Don't get caught up in any role. Because the role is not appearing because you want it. If my mother comes in front of me, automatically the sun will come out. I'm not deciding that the sun should come or sun should not come. So it is happening. You remain the witness. Because that cannot be stopped. Then we start playing the game of life. There is only one way to get out of it. Find out who is this jiva. When you start searching for the jiva, or like Ramana Maharishi says, who am I? We come to realize there is no I. Nirvikalpa Samadhi gives you freedom of I from all relativity. But we don't want freedom of I. We want freedom from I. Once we become free from I, we are the one infinite. Freedom of I, you become free of I in sleep also, in coma also, in death also, in samadhi also. But the I comes back up again. We don't want freedom of I. We want freedom from I. That is liberation. One has to recognize one's essential nature. There is no other way. So, as long as we are outsourcing it to gods, as long as we are outsourcing it to puja, archa, japa, all that can be done. It is necessary also. Because that is depending upon where your attention. If your attention is on the body, you will do karma yoga. If your attention is on the mind, you will do bhakti yoga. If your attention is on the intellect, you will do jnana yoga. If your attention is on the consciousness, then you will follow Vedanta. All that is necessary, depends where your attention is. So, if we are doing karma yoga to improve the world, we are losing the plot. You do the karma yoga to purify yourself. That is the only purpose that the scriptures say karma yoga has to be done. Bhakti yoga has to be done for what? To prove that the God is there. No. Bhakti yoga is done to single point your mind, make it focused so that it merges into the divine. And when it merges into the divine and starts getting the glimpses, initially with the form, with the sound, eventually with Nirvikalpa Samadhi, then the question comes, who is this me? Who is this I? Because in Nirvikalpa Samadhi, I am absolutely in bliss. When I come out of Samadhi, the whole world is still appearing. It's still disturbing. So is there a way I can convert my experience of Nirvikalpa Samadhi into a 24/7 experience? 365 days a year? Then comes Jnana Yoga. Then you start understanding the intricacies of our mind like we are doing. But as you go through this, every now and then your attention is being brought to that which is beyond knowledge, and that what you are. Knowledge is by way of thoughts. You are the one in whose presence the thought knowledge is coming and going. But that thought knowledge is not the ultimate knowledge. You are the ultimate knowledge, in essence. So, catch that and live joyfully. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Just sit quietly for a moment.